Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Deborah Martin and Candy Durbin. And we are talking about the opening of the brand new Eva Womens Clinic, opening January 6th in 2020. First of all, can't believe I'm saying that number for a year. And second, this is pretty exciting. So lots of work has had to have happened up until this announcement. First of all, I love the name, Eva Womens Clinic. Where did that come from, Deborah?
Well, first of all, we put together a few focus groups, and decided, to put it out there to try to come up with a name. And there were probably 20 names that came out of this focus group, but it actually came down to Eva. And as we looked at Eva, it was two special pieces that happened with that. One, the location on Cleveland Avenue. Internally, we always call it the Ave.
The Ave was his nickname.
Cleveland Avenue.
AVE.
AVE.
Mm-hmm.
So as we looked at that, if you spell Ave backwards.
EVA. Oh,
yes.
You guys.
Yes. So that was one of the reasons. But the other reason was, as we looked at the definition of Eva, it means life.
Life. So perfect.
Perfect.
Eva means life, and Eva, the Ave, backwards.
Yes.
It's like little secret code.
Yes.
That's so fun. Eva Women's Clinic. Well, it's beautiful because it's just a lady's name. That seems to be a trend, doesn't it, now in naming women's clinics?
It does.
And you found this. How did you find? You've done a lot of background checking, didn't you? About what got you this far?
Actually, Candy did a lot of the background checking with the names. We had a lot. We put together the focus committee, and each one of them had to come up with a name and say why they came up with that name. So they had to do the research. I was not going to do all of this work. So they came up with all of these names and, listed the reasons why they thought it was a good idea and what the meaning was. And from there, we took it before the board, a couple of names, and the board voted on this. So again, everybody kind of came to the same conclusion.
Hard to narrow down from how many did you have to work with?
We had about 20.
Yeah. But now, once you come up with one, doesn't it make so much sense? You kind of think, oh, how did we ever even consider anything else once you describe it like this? Other kinds of things that the focus group might have talked about and worked on, was there anything as far as what would be provided, or has that come from the model that you've already found?
Well, actually, the model that we've already found, we're kind of going beyond that because most of the other centers don't have the full-blown women's clinic.
Ooh.
A lot of them do STD testing, for very limited STD testing for pregnant girls, but very few have a full-blown women's clinic that will see anybody.
But Eva Women's Clinic will be full-blown.
Yes.
For anyone right now who is maybe concerned that pregnancy choices is changing in a way that is changing their mission, that is untrue. Let's nip that in the bud, right?
Right.
Tell me procedures that will not happen at Eva Women's Clinic.
Well, we will still not refer for abortions. That was one of our major things that we did. We will educate. We will be there for that person. And even if a person walks through our doors and they say, you know what, I don't have a choice. I feel like I must have this abortion. We will wrap our arms around them, and we will be there for them. Through it, afterwards, we will be there because we want to support them. We want to love on them. So all of that will not change. So we will still provide all of those services. And if they decide in the end that they have that abortion and they come back later and say, I regret that, then we also have programs they can come through to help work through that process also.
That's one of the things that's just so unique about pregnancy choices. You really do, as far as there's the preventative part where you're in the schools, which is what first brought you to the organization.
Correct.
So many years ago.
Right.
And then you have all that intervention with the medical services and then all of the pregnancy choices education and support as far as intervention. And then you have the restoration part where if somebody they really regret that decision. Let's talk about that just a little bit. You have the House of Hope.
Yes.
And tell me what might be available there.
We actually have classes that are available to help deal with past abortions, any kind of grief, any kind of childhood sexual abuse. So because all of those things impact us, any kind of your sexual past. Many of us grew up in the 60s when it was, free for all, do whatever you want to do. And beyond that, we become sexually active with people, and then we don't realize that there are emotional consequences behind that, that we need to deal with. So all of that's there that you need to go through that healing process. We serve such a forgiving God, that God forgives us for anything and everything that we do. But I always say there's a difference between forgiveness and being healed. And many times we have women sit in our churches who have been forgiven by God for what they've done, but they haven't healed from it. And they need to get healed. So that whole idea that 1 in every 4 women sitting in your church probably has had an abortion. There are many hurting women sitting in our church, and men, because the men deal with some of those consequences also.
That's an astounding statistic. Say that one more time. Just let's let that sink in a minute.
What, 1 in 4
Yes.
women probably have had an abortion sitting in your church.
Sitting in your church.
Yes.
That's a hurting woman, and
Yes.
that's a woman that you see smiling every Sunday.
Right.
So you are getting to see just lives completely changed when that smile becomes just a glow and there's just a complete healing inside. The smile then is not just on the mouth, it's in the eyes. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my, such good stuff. Okay, Candy, you get to see a lot of fun things too. I'm thinking you get to see lives changed when someone sees their ultrasound, and you've experienced being in the room when there is somebody when they are dead set on, I've got to have an abortion, I've got no way out. And then what happens once they see that ultrasound?
Well, hopefully every time, but many times it is the turning point. They see the baby moving. They see the baby's heart beating, and it becomes real. Because up to that point, it's a thought. Because their body hasn't changed yet. They're really early on usually. But internally, their body's changing a lot.
Yes.
And the proof of it is in that picture. So I have seen women who have come in that are, I'm having an abortion. I cannot have this baby. Just instantly become tearful, and it's like, okay, this is real now. Now I have to rethink this. Fathers also.
Yeah.
When a father's in a room, the coolest thing is when a father is in the room and he's this big tough guy, and then you see him tear up. And one time, especially, I remember, this was a married couple, so we're not always talking about teenagers who, I can't do it because I have to go to school and all that. Sometimes a married couple has so many responsibilities, financial problems, all these things, and it's not really something they necessarily want to do, or they're ashamed of being pregnant, or any of those things. It's they feel like they have to because they can't afford it or whatever. I had one couple that was in there, and they had their toddler with them, and they just thought it was too much. And as soon as he saw the baby on the screen. No, the dad.
The dad.
He picked up the toddler and said, "Look at your brother."
Oh, my.
Wow.
So it was just like
my.
instant. And he was, we're not doing this before the screen.
But that all changed once he
minute they
saw
saw
that
it.
baby.
So that is always so, awesome when you get to see stuff like that. But also just to know that even when that woman walks out, there are going to be some that still don't know what they're going to do. But to know that you have given them every bit of education so that they can make an informed decision. Because on the opposite side, I was also in an ultrasound with a girl who had a previous abortion. And turns out that the timing of this ultrasound was about the same week gestationally as where she had aborted before.
Oh, my.
And when she saw the screen, she got emotional and said, "They lied to me. They told me it was a clump of cells."
And she's seeing a
And she's
human
seeing
baby.
a real baby there. And so then you've got this girl who is happy that she has this baby, but then really, I don't think she was really regretting the abortion before, because she didn't really understand what it was before. So there's so much that goes on in that room.
You truly do give people options. I mean, it just seems that if a person really is pro-choice, they would be against abortion, because you're giving people all these other ways out. There's certainly the opportunity to place for adoption. Does that ever get discussed?
It does. We refer out for that. But yes, that option is discussed because we want them to know that's one of your choices. But we do refer out for that particular service.
Well, I just go back to what that gal said. They lied to me. That does not seem to be as pro-choice as some places might purport themselves to be. If you have to lie to a person.
Well, and it's just a matter of choice. It's we want them to know what all of their choices are. And we are not going to make the choices for them.
Right.
But we will be there to support whatever choice they make.
Absolutely. And that then afterwards, and if they do decide to terminate the pregnancy and are facing regrets and the remorse of that, you're there for them there as well.
We are.
But there's no coercion to make anyone
not.
decision.
No.
But there's lots of love.
We've had girls who have had abortions who had been our clients who come back the next time they're pregnant. That says a lot.
That says a lot. And carry the baby to term this next time? Yes.
But
wow.
just knowing that we didn't judge them, that, okay, I'm in this situation again, I can go back to them because they treated me nice.
They know this is a place where they will get the truth. And they will get and love your God's hands and feet right there. We started this by you saying, Deborah, that these changes came along because you did a lot of praying first.
Yes.
You've got a cool new thing using modern technology so that we can all pray along with you. What's this?
Yes, it's called Text to Pray because this ministry is a God ministry and we need all the prayer support that we can get. So we have this new item called Text to Pray, where all you have to do is basically text the word Eva, EVA, to the number 80123. That's it. Not a full phone number, just 80123. If you text Eva to that, you will automatically be signed up to receive no more than 5 texts a week. That's the goal. We don't want to bombard anybody with texts, but we do want to kind of keep you updated with prayer requests, with praise reports, or anything that might be going on that might, connect you to us. Because we do need your prayers. So if you want to sign up for that, please do. And we would love to kind of stay connected that way.
The kinds of texts that come through, they're not long, first of all.
No.
What would be like a topic or some kind of thing that might come through on the text to pray?
If we have a client who comes in and says, I know I'm having an abortion, we may send out that text and say, we won't give a name, but we might say, please pray for this particular person. Or if we have something exciting happening, like the grand opening for Eva, we might send that out as a text that says, please pray for this grand opening celebration coming up. So all kinds of things could come out of that, but mostly prayer requests and praise reports.
Awesome. All right. Well, it opens to patients January 6th in 2020. We'll be having more information, I'm sure, about a grand opening that everybody can come take a tour and see everything. In the meantime, text the word Eva, EVA, to this number 80123, and you can join in on the text to pray. And my goodness, I hope you'll come back after the opening and tell us all the exciting things taking place. This just looks life-saving and life-changing. Deborah Martin, Candy Durbin, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.